I'm going to give you the lowdown on how you can do things the absolute fastest, the Lamani way. And then I'm going to show you what you should do 60 to 65 just to do it really, 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 really quick. So let's answer the age old question of how does I do the leveling? How does I do the leveling in New World? We're going to break this down 1 to 30, 30 to 60, 60 to 65. Okay, so let's say you're somebody who's starting 1 to 30. How are you going to get there? And why do I say 30? Because there's going to be a bunch of other methods that open up to sort of power level. So we're going to talk the 1 to 30 legit way. So this is going to be MSQ, side quest, faction quests. And the big thing is PvP flagging because this is just going to give you XP. You're not going to see many people out in the world who are going to try and mess with you and kill you. 9 times out of 10, when people PvP flag, they're just looking to get faction tokens anyway. But right now, if you haven't leveled in a long time, they've completely revamped the main story quests, the side quests, everything that's there. And you don't choose a faction until like level 20 or if you want to push it. But I would suggest as soon as you can, get your faction such you can PvP flag because it's only going to give you more XP. But why am I saying MSQ and sides? This used to take forever. But if you start to look at things like NWDB, like we go here, how much XP do we get for main quests? You can see it's a couple thousand a quest. It's a significant amount, especially as you start to get to some of these later quests. Whereas if we compare it to side quests, we go all the way down. There are some expedition quests, but if we start to look at some of these early levels, it's not that much, right? It's not that much. It's not super significant, but it is a decent amount. So what we want to do is we want to try and stack our main story quests and pick up all of our side story quests and only do the side stories that are nearby. So if they're just happen to be there, pick it up and do it. It doesn't hurt. You can have as many as you need. You can go until your log's completely full, and then you can delete them when you don't need them anymore. But on top of that, then, if we get our faction early, you can start to see that some of these faction quests aren't worth that much. But the bonus is that if they're just in the general region of what we're trying to do, it only will help you in the future. It's just a little bit of XP you can stack on top if it just happens to be nearby, but it's also going to give us some faction reputation, which you will need a bunch once you're 65 because of the new expansion and how much they prioritize that. So in general, your 1 to 30 experience, if you're going to just do this legit fresh character, no money, no help, no anything, is questing. Unfortunately, that is my best suggestion. And when you are doing a questing sort of journey to do your leveling, I would highly suggest using a build that's going to use something like this. No matter what you do, whether you're a life staff, whether you are using a great sword, great axe, any single weapon that you choose to level with, hatchet is by far going to be one of the fastest things because you have berserk, you can get out of a bunch of things and you can't be staggered. And then you have defy death just in case in the back pocket, but mainly because of against all odds. This is going to make it so you get up to a 50% damage increase. And this is one of the big reasons why you can use a life staff with it while leveling, and you just stack up a bunch of mobs and kill them all together. So this is a build I would be using the entirety of my leveling journey. So when we're talking that 1 to 30 adventure, obviously 1 to 30, MSQ, faction, side, PvP flagging. So now let's say you've gotten to 30. Well, what are your options? 30 to 60. If you're doing it legit, will still be MSQ, side, faction doing it in that same setup. But again, because of the way they've changed things, you are going to still see crazier gains than if you're somebody who quit within the first month of the expansion. Quests give a lot of XP, especially if you're stacking it this way. But the thing that starts to open up in 30 to 60, and why I put this question mark here, is you now have things like cooking, refining skills, all of that, that will give you significant amounts of XP. And so personally, whenever I'm leveling, if I'm going to do it this way, if I'm fresh, legit, no money, I level to at least 30 without doing anything within my trade skills. If you cook, you will see you get an ass ton of XP. So I can hit 60 to 62 just by cooking. Okay. So keep that in your back pocket. So once you start to get maybe deeper into the 40s, maybe even early 50s, that's where I'd start saying, hey, let's do some cooking. Hey, let's do some leather working, do some of our weaving, smelting, all of that good stuff. You can even do things like skinning. So something I used to do is I'd go to Old Boar's home and I would skin, and that will start to exponentially increase. As your skinning gets higher, you're going to get more. And especially now that we have up to 250 unlocked, this could be a very viable method if you find somewhere where you can just sit there and spam skin to get a lot of XP. But so this is all the legit stuff. Again, it's the a little bit boring, but doing your main story, doing your side, doing your faction, and then we're going to start throwing in some cooking, and I will show you exactly how that works. If you are somebody who likes doing questing, you can save all of your trade skill stuff to just be the 60 to 65 and then start doing it there and get your levels there. Now let's talk about what you can do instead as far as 1 to 60 to truly be the fastest power leveler. Let's say you're somebody who has access to tons of money or big, large, girthy friends who are willing to carry you a little bit and help you out. Trade skills, standing, and trials. These are going to be your best ways to level. Let's just start with trials. I have a YouTube short that's on there. A lot of people have watched it and been asking about it. Basically, trials, go on the YouTube channel and look at shorts. Okay. Shorts. It'll be linked down below. So this is a possible method, but again, I probably wouldn't do it until I hit 30-ish. Once you're in the 30s, that's like a good time where you're going to continuously get them. You do need a 4-man group to carry you through this. Alternatively, now that we have the 250 cap for trade skills, refining skills and like cooking give you way more. But trade skills, if you do cooking at a lower level and hit 250, I have no idea how much XP you're going to get. But the biggest thing to note is that standing is huge. A lot of your leveling comes from getting territory standing bumps. So when you do something and it's like, boop, 1 to Windsward and you can put storage in, these give you massive amounts of XP. So what we should be doing is putting on a territory standing booster and then playing a territory standing song so that you can get the most territory standing possible. And again, I will show this. When you do your cooking, this will baseline just give you a ton of XP. You could do this as soon as possible. It doesn't take that much to just sit there and farm hearty meals and max out your cooking. But then you can now do your leather working, your weaving, stone cutting, everything up to 250, which does give tons of XP, especially because we get those extra 50 levels now that we wouldn't have previously gotten, which I would imagine if you just did all that, you probably wouldn't even need to do a single quest to hit 60. But the big thing to note is that you need to do your MSQ anyway. You have to do your main story quest to get your heart rune, to get your Azoth stuff, to do whatever end game content you want to do. So it doesn't hurt to at least do main story quests. But if you want to do it this way, you can just power level through all of them. Now, there's another thing that we can mention, and that is just raw standing gain. This is something I use to level 60 to 65 on an alt account. What you can do is you can take charcoal and you can take solvent. You can put them together at a level 1 furnishing station, engineering station, and you can make stain. Stain is the cheapest way to get territory standing bumps. So what do? We put on that territory standing booster, we put on the song, and then we just sit there and we make stain. Actually, I should just show this. So here's what you would do. Let's say you want to do territory standing. I'm going to go on my level 60 character. Feet. I'm on Bari. This character will be leveled. Okay? I promise. We're going to be an EU wargamer. And it's important because what we're going to do here is this little method is how I'm going to cheaply get from 60 to 65 without doing anything. And I don't want to do any of my main story quests personally because I don't care about them once I've hit this point and I'm on an alt character. I can look at these and the ones we're going to want to prioritize if we're trying to do it this way. I wouldn't do it in like a main capital, but you could because you could still get some of these. We want to actually prioritize XP gain and we do want to prioritize standing boost because this is only going to help us. But so just to show you a little demonstration of something you can do for levels, okay? I have this character, feet, and I have 200 cooking. So I can use this to get a little bit of a bump. I'm not going to worry about territory standing song right now. So let's say I just put on this territory standing booster. How much money do I have? I have 4K. Okay. We're going to go. Let me look up some eggs. Eggs, egg, egg. Sure. Great. Great. Wonderful. Go like this. Okay. I'm just trying to show you, you do not need that much food to actually get it to max. Okay. So we're going to grab some more eggs. I'm going to grab some more. I think milk was another one I had. I don't know how much milk is. Milk, relatively cheap. So grab a bunch of milk. And this isn't the exact charcoal method, but I can show too with charcoal what you're able to do. And so now I have my territory standing booster popped and we're going to waddle over to a cooking station. If you have the territory standing song on, it's only going to benefit you. You can jump around and do this at multiple different places once you do the charcoal method, but you are going to use stuff like this. You can use it at a low level. You can use it at a high level as a way to sort of use gold to get more XP. I am rested as well on this character. But so let's say I just make hearty meals and I'm going to make this many. Okay. This might max it. But you'll see I am 62 and a half now and my cooking is max. And all I did was make 2,200 hearty meals. And the big reason why is because I also got 7 territory standing bumps. But I'm going to take this now and I'm going to show you how much you can actually get from doing something like the charcoal method that you can use infinitely while you're leveling up. Okay, so with this, you have 2 ways of doing it. You can just buy the charcoal straight up. So you can either go charcoal. I would check your prices. So you go charcoal. Okay, it's 23 per. That's actually not that bad. Or what you can do is you can go greenwood and you can smelt it for a little bit more XP, which is probably a good move. So I'm going to grab a bunch of greenwood and we'll go with solvent and you'll start to see how much solvent costs. Not very much. And again, I do batches of 10,000 and 4,000 when I normally do this, but we're just showing a sample. And so if I just craft 306 stain at level 62, you'll start to see I got 5K XP. Okay. That is with a very, very, very small sample. So that was with just 2,600 charcoal. So we'll just say multiply that by like five. Okay. Multiply that by five, four. We'll say four conservatively, four ish, and that's how much XP you're going to get. And then if we stay in one spot and do it, we will continue to just put in these bumps and then we'll start to get more XP. We'll start to get more faction gain. But it is worthwhile starting and doing it at places you have zero standing or places where you might have one or just low numbers, or you can sit in that one spot and do it. Totally up to you, your choice. But this is everything you can do to really speed level if you want to hit 1 to 60 and go 60 to 65 the fastest.